December 13th. This is co-host number 1, Timber, co-host number 2, Tucker. We are ready to go. This is Dr. J's Prescription for Health. In case you guys are new here, I am Dr. Malea Jensen. I'm a board-certified family physician. I practice in Iowa. So you guys, this is your opportunity if you want to ask questions, medical questions, and yeah, we'll get started. Yes, I am dressed warm today. It is very cold. It's cold. The wind chill is cold. The wind chill's below 0. It must be 5 below 0. And we're getting snow. We've probably got 5 inches of snow already overnight. So it's not fun. So we dress warm. Right, Timber? He loves it out there. All right, Jingle, thank you. Where are you guys listening from? I see you guys joining on. Roll 3261. Okay. OSU Mom has joined us. Good morning, you guys. And Ruth. Actually choose Joy. Where are you guys listening from? This is awesome. Must be cold where you were at too, because yeah, you guys are here listening to me. You're kidding me, Ruth. No snow in Northeast Iowa. It passed you by. Yeah, I saw it came from the Northwest and it's going to the Southeast. So you're likely to have been missing it, but good for you. Are you getting the cold? Actually choose Joy is from Lake Havasu City. Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I bet it's warm there. Watching from Atlanta. I am a first subscriber here today. Nice. Thanks, Mr. Magnificent. Hopefully you got some questions to ask, and hopefully I got the answers for you. But I appreciate everybody being here. Couple questions that came up yesterday that I was actually going to do a reel, and I got busy doing other things. So I am good, Joe. Thank you for asking. Vitamin D. This is so controversial. Should you take it? Should you not take it? Sometimes I wonder, I ask myself, do we really need it? And if we see that vitamin D is low on our labs, does that mean we need to take it? Oftentimes, what is presenting as low vitamin D is actually a sign of inflammation. Inflammation can lower magnesium. Magnesium deficiency can lower vitamin D. They do go hand in hand. But taking vitamin D does not correct the inflammation. Something else is causing the inflammation. So simply taking vitamin D is likely not the answer. Taking vitamin D can also lower vitamin A. All of these things, see, when we're listening to naturopaths or gurus on, let's just say gurus or influencers online, and they'll say, hey, we need to take vitamin D. Your vitamin D is low. First, ask yourself, what is low vitamin D? Low vitamin D, as seen on your labs, is simply a reference range. And I encourage you that you know which vitamin D your doctor is actually checking. Are they checking the active form of vitamin D or the stored form of vitamin D? The active form of vitamin D is what, is what we need. When we're talking about thyroid, we really don't need to know about T4. It's inactive, but the T3, we want to know what T3 is doing. Free T3 is the active form of thyroid hormone, and we want to know what's going on. Go lay down. Hey. Sometimes they don't listen. Sometimes they listen. Good morning, Lucy. So checking both active and stored vitamin D might be in your best interest. I used to be under the belief that we needed a vitamin D level of stored vitamin D close to 100, and that would help protect against, cardiovascular disease. Now I'm looking more toward the ratio of active to stored, and I would like to see an active to stored ratio of 2 to 1. Simply measuring stored vitamin D will not tell us if that will convert to active vitamin D. And that's where the problems run, where we run into. Also, I mentioned just a minute ago that vitamin D, taking vitamin D, can lower vitamin A. When vitamin A is low, copper is low. When copper is low, ceruloplasmin is low. We get trapping of iron in the liver. Hepcidin goes up with inflammation. So we're getting now a problem with our iron. Now we need all of these things. We need iron, and we need D, and we need A, and we need C. We need all these things. It's just that I think that we're taking them in amounts that are not necessary, and they're causing a lot of problems everywhere else. In case you guys are new here, this is Timber. He's one of my little mini dachshunds. He's a gentle soul. He loves me. And I can't imagine that he's going to sit on my lap very long, because he just doesn't. So I'm actually surprised he wanted up here in the first place, but I think he wanted to sit up against my cozy sweater right now. What are other negative side effects of taking vitamin D? Well, vitamin D actually makes cells more sensitive to hydrogen peroxide. If there is a state of inflammation, inflammatory cytokines stimulate hydrogen peroxide. And too much hydrogen peroxide, which is a byproduct of inflammation, vitamin D increases the toxicity of hydrogen peroxide. I know that we've been, encouraged to take, maybe during COVID, we were encouraged to maybe do nebulizer treatments of hydrogen peroxide. There can be a good thing, there could be a bad thing with peroxide, but just know that too much of a reactive oxygen species can be bad. And so we need to be cautious. Too much of a good thing, okay? Yeah, I don't know why you're having trouble with let me make sure my volume is up. There we go. Hopefully, Mr. Magnificent, that will help with the volume. Let me make sure it's up here. Yeah, okay. Well, the volume is up. Okay, you want to get down? Yep, he's getting squirrely. And I won't be able to concentrate. Let me see. Okay, so maybe the vitamin D, taking vitamin D initially will help. It can protect the cells, but I believe that over time, the amount of reactive oxygen species that will be developed via hydrogen peroxide can become too high, and then this switches into cell death, and you don't want that. We have enough things causing cell death. We don't need more reactive oxygen species. And yeah, so if you guys have questions on that, I'll try to help clarify it, but well, plotting an escape, I'm sorry to hear that. That is your opinion on my dachshund, but okay. Thank you for your comment, I think. All right. No, I don't think so. Plotting an escape actually has one. So you're being a sarcastic little effer, aren't you? That's what you want me to say? Yes. The way that you can, what do I want to say? Make your dachshunds happy is to never leave the home, to have a constant lap for them to snuggle up on, to give them food whenever they ask, to allow them to burrow under sheets and blankets and everything else, as long as they have some sort of way to burrow, that is making them happy. But yeah, those are the things. Like I said, never leave home. Constant lap, constant treats, constant food, and then they're happy. What other questions do you have? Yes, constantly be their servant, says plotting an escape. Exactly my point. Yes, but I could never call them a little effer. No matter what, their eyes and their little smiles and their, yeah, I've had 3 of them in my lifetime, and each one has their own personality. My little Tootsie is the softest, most delicate little soul, but yet she is so stubborn. If I tell her to come, she will deny me. That's all there is to it. She will come when it's her wanting to come, but boy, is she a snuggler. Okay. Ruth says, vitamin D levels probably vary by season for our ancestors. Well, I don't get into our ancestors because I don't know anything about our ancestors. If you know something that I don't know about our ancestors and you've checked their blood, Ruth, then let us all know. But honestly, I think we should leave it in the here and now, and we need to get outside. Just a little exposure on our face for 10 to 15 minutes every day will help. Even getting it in through our eyes helps. Taking in, for me, I choose not to take in supplements, but I will eat sardines. Sardines are a great source of vitamin D and vitamin A. How long would it take to lower insulin levels? Well, you would need to lower your carbohydrates. So tell me how you're going to lower your carbohydrates, and I might be able to tell you how long it will take for you to lower your insulin. It's just going to depend. Running or weights? Absolutely weights. There's not even a question. Chat with Lucy says, I've been approached regarding food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Drink 1 tablespoon a day to help with cancer. Your thoughts? I don't have a thought. I don't know anything about that, but like I said, too much of a good thing. Is it killing our cells? Is that killing your cancer cells, but it's sparing your good cells? I mean, too much of a good thing as far as a oxygen species. Do you think the ROS is going to say, I wonder which one is a cancer cell? Oh, this one's a cancer cell and this one's a good cell. I'm just going to cause cell death of the cancer cell. I don't think that's possible, but I could be wrong. Drew, hello, says hello from Sydney. Hello. I am in Iowa. It's cold. Do you know anything about PVCs and ventricular ectopy? I do a little bit, but I'm not a cardiologist. The theory, so Lucy, we have a possible answer over here on YouTube. I am live on Instagram and YouTube. So Olive says that the theory is that the extra oxygen, so H2O2 instead of H2O, so the extra oxygen molecule will kill cancer. But Olive says they would never drink hydrogen peroxide. Good morning, Lion. Let me see. Hopefully I didn't miss anything in here. I think there's always a question about vitamin D every weekend. I think because I think we're pushed to drink vitamin D. Hold, please. That usually makes them quiet down. Oh my goodness, get in your hole. When I say get in the hole, it means get in your little snug bag, your little fluff bed, and go back to sleep. A snowflake was probably blowing outside, plotting. A snowflake was blowing outside and made them bark. Okay. RM, we are waiting for my moderator to jump on so they can help. Any thoughts on wearing natural fibers? What are natural fibers? Give me like linen, like cotton. Yes, I think that we should be wearing more linen and less polyester. I think those are causing a lot of inflammation and diseases in our body. Yeah, okay, Olive agrees with me. Silk and cotton, I don't know anything about cashmere. Jay Bella says linen, wool, silk. There's nothing better than wool socks. There's nothing better than linen sheets. Wisdom, I repeat, answer questions. I'm not sure what you're saying, but help me out. Okay. All right. Oh, here's a good question. This question came up, and it has been coming up because a lot of the carnivores are eating more carbs. That's their choice. And am I a carnivore? No, I'm not a carnivore. Am I a ketogenic consumer? I am. I follow a ketogenic diet. I think it works best for me. And I do eat a little bit of dairy. I'll probably drink an ounce of cream every day. I'll sometimes eat cheese, but no, that is not carnivore. And so I am not carnivore. So this person is asking about gaining fat on the carnivore diet. Well, one, are you consuming dairy? You could be gaining fat weight. Also, there are some people on a carnivore diet who respond by building fat on their body because they're eating maybe too much fat. And so it might be, and this is not for everybody. I know that I am sensitive to carbohydrates and to certain amounts of fat. If I consume too much fat, like a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 ratio, I'm going to end up not being able to burn my own fat because I'll be trying to burn and make short chain fatty acids, burn the fat that I'm taking in. So then my fat on my body will be higher. It'll conserve. So I have my own little store on my body. Now, what you could do instead of just going completely no fat, you could cycle it. Maybe 2 or 3 days a week, you are very low fat. You're just eating, the fat that's in the meat, or the fat that's in your sardines, or the fat that's in your eggs. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. An 80-20 or maybe a 73-27, those are about a 1-to-1. 80-20 is about 1-to-1 ratio. If you feel that maybe there's days like 2 or 3 or 4 days a week out of 7, you want low fat, cycling those in and out, like going with really lean meat, like a filet mignon versus a ribeye or a New York strip, maybe taking out all the tallow, butter, or extra fats, and just cooking in the natural juices of your meat. And I tend to do that anyway. I rarely will put tallow on my pan anymore. I just let the natural juices. Sometimes with, if I'm just eating eggs, I will put a little bit of coating of tallow on, not my tallow, but the tallow from the animal tallow, from a bucket of tallow, not my personal tallow. He's my puppy dog. Yeah. So a little bit of tallow when I'm frying eggs or scrambling eggs, but rarely do I use any type of tallow or butter with that. Thank you, Linda. If you want to help me with the moderation, I appreciate that. No, it's not, Flab. So back to the fat and burning fat. Most of us have a high supply of restored energy on our body. We carry around a suitcase of fat, a suitcase of energy in the form of fat. And most of us could probably go a month without consuming any food because the fat on our body would get us by. If I want to, in the wintertime, I don't mind having a little bit of extra body fat, but come, spring, I like to shed a little bit of body fat, and that's when I will maybe cycle my fat a little more than I would usually. So I will lower my fat or more go very, very lean on the meat I'm consuming. Okay, I might even choose a 90 or 97 lean ground beef. And again, choose filet versus T-bones and ribeyes. Yeah, Linda, one of my dog's name is Tallow. His name is Tallow. His actual name is Norman Tallow. He came from Norman, Oklahoma via a rescue. So those of you who are listening on Instagram, Rescue, Rehab, and Rehome is my live fundraiser. That is where I got my Tallow. And he came from Oklahoma. So his real name is Norman Tallow. And since all of my dog's names are T's, even Tucker, who is my co-host, was a T. Don't ask me why I chose T's. It just so happened that it just so happens. When I had Tucker, along came Tootsie. I didn't even name Tootsie. Tootsie was named by a couple of little kids from one of my doctor friends that came into the office to see me one day. And I had just had Tootsie for a day. I got her the day before, and they came in and said, what is her name? And I said, I didn't know. And she looks like a Tootsie Roll. And from that day forward, her name was Tootsie. Then along came Timber, and Timber got named after the song. Actually, not after the song. It was after somebody I listened to on, Linda. Tallow is a Dachshund something mix. He might have a little Italian Greyhound or some sort of Whippet. He's very lean. He's got very long legs, but he's got a Dachshund head. That's about all the Dachshund he has in him because he's got these long legs and he is, skinny. His little ribs are showing and he eats. He is, oh boy. He ate almost a pound of turkey this morning. I had to cut him off. I make all of them their food. Morning and evening, I make all their food first, and then I usually eat. So I get the leftovers, really. But Timber was named after somebody I listened to online. I still do occasionally. And it just came at the exact time that I thought about Timber. So his name is Timber Jack Down. Timber Jack Down. That's his full name listed on his papers. Timber Jack Down. Yes, the T's are a very strong sound for dogs to respond to. Mine, unfortunately, except for Tallow, all of them respond without, there's a T, so there's no responding to Timber and Tootsie. But Tallow, yes, definitely. Lucy says, injured myself at a Christmas party last night, alcohol and sugar. What is best to fast today or have good breakfast of eggs, cooked in butter, sauna, exercise? I would probably fast and do the sauna. You could probably go 24 hours. It will help bring that insulin level down. Did you have fun, Lucy? If it was once a year having fun at a, at a holiday party or a Christmas party, those things are fun. Try not to blame yourself, but just get right back into it. Just fast today. It'll get your insulin levels down. Unfortunately, when insulin levels go up, blood sugars go up, insulin goes up, we get a ton of glycation. So just know that you're causing aging in your, once proteins are glycated, there's really no going back. you know, but you know, we can't live in a bubble, and we're going to have these things where we go out and we enjoy it and injure ourselves. It is an injury. I understand that. Okay. I love Oklahoma too. One day I want to go to Oklahoma. It's on my list of things to do. I want to go to Oklahoma City, I believe. It's where the women's college softball World Series is held, and it's on my list of things to do before I die. Linda says, what kind of sardines are the best? The ones that you will eat. I don't know. I get mine on Amazon. I get a box of cans sent to me, and I eat a can or two a week. We all love them in our house. Lucy says, it was fun. Still have the guilt feeling, though. That ribeye was so good. I will fast. And yeah, you're welcome. Fasting's the best. Just, you know, if you haven't eaten yet, by tonight, it's 24 hours, and then you have a ribeye to end your fast. I don't know about that music festival, Linda, but that is not the reason I would want to go to Oklahoma. But if you love that, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we answered the question on the fat and why we're getting fat. On a carnivore diet, one, I would question whether or not you're actually on a carnivore diet. Simply eating animals is not a carnivore diet. Carnivore diet is 0 carbohydrates. So if you are eating any carbohydrates, game over, you are not a carnivore. I am not a carnivore. I eat carbohydrates. I even drink coffee. That is really not a carnivore. That is actually a plant, and you're consuming a plant. So I consume some dairy on occasion. Well, no, every morning I drink a good ounce of cream. Lucy says, sardines, Wild Planet is a brand. Also, Henry's and Lisa's are the two you have. Okay. Do you get those on Amazon? Where's someplace easy that they can get those? MJ says, Dr. Malea, you once told me about ferroptosis. Ferroptosis is cell death. It's a condition of cell death, and it's basically caused by by iron that is oxidizing. So it is oxidized iron. Oxidized iron is basically rusting. So ferroptosis is basically rusting from the inside out. Is everybody at some point at a stage where they are rusting from the inside out? Yes. Ferroptosis is much worse than hemochromatosis, which is much worse than iron overload. So we go in stages, and there are more people than not who have iron overload. I bet I could look at 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 labs, if they had the correct panel, and know that they have some sort of iron overload because the way we grew up and foods we are eating and the vitamins we are taking and everything that we have been told. We need iron. We would not be able to live without iron. We are just getting way too much iron. And it is building up in our, it's building up in our body. It's building up in our organs. It's building up in our cells. It's getting incorporated into our cell membranes. How is something like that treated? It's a metal. How do you treat metals in your body? You cannot just simply detox or dump blood, because by dumping blood, you're actually dumping heme iron. We need heme iron. Our red blood cells need iron. It carries iron to the places we need it to go to. What we don't need is accumulation of non-heme iron that builds up in our organs. There are many things that, there are, the detoxifiers are things that either bind, if we bind heavy metals, or we sequester heavy metals, or we chelate heavy metals. By doing these things, that helps. Is there particular things out on the market that do that? Of course there are. It'd be something that you can look into. How is iron overload discovered, or how is ferroptosis discovered? By looking at iron, your iron level, your ferritin level, your transferrin level. your TIBC, your saturation. You can look at your MCV. You can look at your CO2 on your chem profile. You can look at your liver function, ALT and AST and GGT. There's a lot of labs. You could get a ceruloplasmin level. You could get, you could just look at yourself actually, and you can see iron overload. Yes, it can look like iron deficiency because you have iron trapping. Iron can be trapped in organs and not in your blood, and people could look at your hemoglobin and hematocrit and say, oh, you got iron deficiency. Here's your iron. Well, that iron, here's your iron, is synthetic iron, which is non-heme iron, and now you just add to your own problem again. At first, these people feel better. And then eventually they get worse and worse and worse. They're aging. They're causing more wrinkles. They're causing more inflammation. Their joints start hurting. This is over time. They get more fatigued. Actually get more fatigued by taking iron. You have to, you don't got to do anything. You can consider looking at an iron panel and I would get a complete metabolic profile, a CMP. If you guys want a list of labs, you can email me at IronLadyDoc@AOL.com. IronLadyDoc@AOL.com. If you want a good list of labs, and recently I've been adding in, and this really bumps up the price. Like right now, I have a lab panel that I'm doing this for nothing, okay? But a lab panel that I can order for you if your doctor won't could run $250. If you want a little more information, like an LP little a and an ApoB and a few other things, then it can run up to $350. RBC zinc level, an RBC copper level, an RBC selenium, get a vitamin A level. Now we're talking another $200. So it does add up. So if some of these things that your doctor can order, seriously, even if they ordered half the stuff on there and then you had to pay for the other half, it is worth it. You are paying for your own insurance, okay? Probably if you're paying for a family, your family insurance could be costing you $1,000 a month. Why wouldn't you use that, okay? You gotta work the game, you guys. You're paying for something. Trying to find out if your doctor will order some of these things for you, okay? Because it's a great way to find out what's going on. So Linda asks, is there a panel I recommend? Just email me, Linda, IronLadyDoc, 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 DOC, at AOL.com. And I can send you a list. Okay, I can send you a list that would be helpful to ask your doctor. RBC magnesium, that's another one that I will sometimes add. Okay. But yeah, I can send that to you. If you are unable to get your doctor to order anything, just email me. If you are in the United States, I can do my best and order them for you. There's a few states that will not allow me to order for you. New York, Rhode Island, and a few others, okay? What can you eat or drink if you fast for 24 hours? Well, fasting means no eating. If you're doing a dry fast, that means no drinking. So the answer is, what type of fast are you on for 24 hours? If you're fasting, then no food. You don't eat anything. If you're dry fasting, you don't eat or drink anything. Marianne asks, can you share what your cholesterol levels are? I have no idea. I do not check my labs. I know what they were, and that was, every time, okay. I know that I ask you to consider getting your labs. The reason being is I think it is important for you to know what is going on and not be crippled by a doctor who is telling you that your cholesterol is high and that you should be taking a statin or some sort of cholesterol lowering medication or some sort of blood pressure medication or some sort of whatever medication. By checking your labs, you will provide, so those are called diagnostic tests. If I do a diagnostic test, I'm going to give myself or you guys a diagnosis. A typical doctor will treat that with a medication or some sort of pharmaceutical in most cases. They're not going to get into diet and exercise and tell you, hey, this is up because of that and the blah, blah, blah. They're not into it. They're into seeing patients, making a diagnosis, and giving you the appropriate treatment, which is pharma related for the most part, okay? I don't want to paint a broad brush stroke, but for the most part. So I don't find it necessary to check my cholesterol levels because my cholesterol levels don't mean anything to me. They might mean something to Marianne, but they don't mean anything to me. I will look at my triglyceride level. I want it 70 or less. And I will look at my HDL level. I want it 70 or greater. How do I do that? No or low carbs. I can lower my triglyceride by low carb. If I'm having troubles, I might try to decrease my fat content. Like I said, I cycle my fat intake. I might have 3 or 4 days a week where I do not consume excess fat. It'll be a leaner sources. Tallow, go lay down. So I'm being honest with you. I'm not telling you guys to do anything. I'm just asking you to consider if you want your labs checked. It's just at this point, I don't care what my labs say. I'm not going to make any changes. The only thing I could get rid of is my dairy. I could increase my exercise. I'm trying to figure out, okay. Linda says, my doctor recommends a Mediterranean diet. I have terrible sweet tooth. Linda, did you ask what a Mediterranean diet is? Ask for the definition of their Mediterranean diet. Is it the true Mediterranean diet, or is it their made-up cardiology Mediterranean diet? Let's see. I agree, Chris. They probably won't, and I'm guessing you're referring to doctors. They won't tell you natural ways to bring the levels to where they should be. Here's the thing. They don't know where the levels should be either. They are going by a reference range. The reference range is on your labs, and it'll be over. It's that range that you say, oh, I'm in the range. Well, what is that range? That reference range is everybody who's come into the lab, and it's an average of everybody that's come into the lab. Most people that come to the lab, I will tell you that they're sick. The labs that I get on people, those are sick people, you know? And so you're comparing yourself with a bunch of sick people, not a bunch of healthy people. So are you wanting to be in that reference range? I wouldn't want to be in the reference range. So we need to really be more consistent with looking at what are the optimal ranges. And doctors don't know what optimal ranges are. They don't even want to check your labs, to be perfectly honest, because they might find something out that they don't know. I mean, I never wanted to, what I did, if somebody came in and they wanted these extensive labs, I never denied them. I said, your insurance might not pay for them. I don't have a code, a diagnosis code. I do my darndest to give a diagnosis code that will help pay for labs. But sometimes some of the labs that they wanted, I said, hey, there's no diagnosis code that I can give. And also, just so you know, I need you to sign this form. Well, what's that, Dr. Jensen? It's a form that says that you requested these labs and you have let me off the hook, basically, to interpret them. Because I don't know what some of these things are. Oh, Dr. Jensen, that's perfectly fine. You don't even have to share your opinions with me. I just want the labs. I can look into it myself. I say, okay, just sign the form. But you see, not all doctors are like that. They will deny you. Why? I don't know if I could, I don't know if I can answer that. I could speculate. I could speculate that they have such a ego problem that they don't want to give you any control of your own healthcare. That's called a paternalistic view, by the way. And that's a paternalistic way of treating you and your medical conditions. That is them telling you what to do. I mean, who likes that unless over the age of 18, right? Then there's, informed consent, informed kind of decision making, where the doctor will give you a whole bunch of information and then say, what would you like to do, ma'am or sir? And you go, I still don't know. Well, then we go into shared decision making, where the doctor gives you a whole bunch of information and then walks you through, ways that if you do this, you could get that. And if you do this and this and that, and that's called shared decision making. And you walk through it together. And that is the type of practice I like to have. Yesterday I had an awesome consult with a gentleman who we walked through for an hour back and forth. Well, what about this? What about that? And so it's more and more that I'm seeing that my consults are more like that. And they want that little bit of, you're the doctor and you have maybe a little more intelligence than I am, but I'm really getting smart and I have a whole bunch of knowledge stuck in here and I'm not connecting the dots yet. And can you help me connect the dots? Awesome. Eventually, you won't need somebody like me to help connect the dots. I mean, in all reality, I'm on this journey with you guys. I'm still connecting dots. It's fun. It is so fun. And I'll come up with something and go, where did that come from? Because I was connecting a dot way back in the back of my head and it just came to the surface just as we were talking. So these kind of things are really, really fun and I enjoy that. But you guys have to, get there. It's difficult, okay? But you just have to keep learning and keep listening to people like me, okay? Lucy says, high levels of arachidonic acid and low levels of manganese. What can you do to reverse this? I'd have to look that up. Arachidonic acid is a byproduct of, breaking down essential fatty acids. Is it short? You know what? I'd have to review. Lucy, I can't answer that question. Melanie says, do we just ask our doctor to run a stored and active vitamin D? They won't know what a stored vitamin D level is, and they won't know what an active vitamin D level is. So go in with it written down, the stored vitamin D, and the active vitamin D, like 25 beta hydroxy, whatever. And then the active vitamin D is dihydro 25, something like that. You'd have to look them up, okay, Melanie? But if you Google what is the formula for active vitamin D, because you can't just search. When we're choosing labs, if I just choose active vitamin D and stored vitamin D, it's not on the search engine. But if I know exactly what the formula is for active vitamin D and the formula for stored vitamin D, then I can plug that in. Or if I just typed in vitamin D level, it might give me the option of everything that they will run for vitamin D. And Linda, on your sweet tooth, you have a sweet tooth because you continue to give yourself sweets. So if you fast from sweets, as in go no contact with them, then you will find that your tooth will be less sweet. Oh, thank you, Angel. If you guys like the information that I'm giving, please subscribe, share, pass it on, like it, do the clickety-clack work, because that helps the algorithm. Plus, I mean, who knows? You might be able to help your friend, family, coworker won't listen to you, but maybe they will find something that I said that helps them make changes in their life. Let's see. Virginia says 132 days on carnivore keto, down 22 pounds, and on a sliding scale for insulin. Is that a sliding scale for insulin? Help me out. Boom, boom. Denver says, good morning, doc. I just came on. I know you don't like plant-based food for myself. And I noticed chia seeds has levels of iron. High levels, low levels, what? Any plant has non-heme iron. We already have too much non-heme iron, okay? That's what's causing iron overload. So eating more plants is not the answer. That's why I do not eat plants. I don't want the lectins. I don't want the phytates or the oxalates. I don't want the tannins. I don't want the non-heme iron. You can't use it. It's 3% absorbable. I want heme iron. I want lamb and beef and buffalo and sheep, deer. I want red meat. Chris says, why do a lot of doctors, if they don't have answers, say it must be genetics? Because they don't have the answers. So let's just deflect it. And blame you. Well, the fact that you were born is probably you. Unfortunately, because you were born, you have this disease. That's deflection. They don't know the answer. It's a form of manipulation. Alex says, oop, you guys they're coming so fast here. Having trouble keeping up. No, you did not. Angel, you did not miss conversation on HRT. You're so on the fence. I would be too. I would not put synthetic hormones in your body. Let your body make your own. On a sliding scale for a blood pressure medicine, Virginia, I probably would not recommend that. Okay? That is not good for you. That's like a roller coaster for you vasodilate, you vasoconstrict, you vasodilate, you vasoconstrict. You could cause a blood clot. And that would not be a good thing. Blood clots can go to our heart and our brain and, yeah, cause attacks. Thank you, Linda. Okay. Alex says, love the videos, but also love that fleece. This is called Sherpa. Sherpa. This particular one has Sherpa on the inside and Sherpa on the outside. It's very cozy. It's obviously the warmest thing I have because it is cold today. I might wear it tomorrow. I might. I like it that much. Where did I get it? Amazon. Amazon. I'm sure it probably came from some foreign country, but it is warm. But yeah, it is. Whoo, yeah. It goes all the way to the top too. Oh, it's snug as a bug around my neck too. Yes, Susan, it is a health chat. So if you have questions in regards to your health, ask away. Let's see. Hello, Sue Nelson. Good to see you. And Tony, I'm just going through here. Tracy says, good morning, Dr. J. What can adults do to reduce the size of enlarged tonsils? Why are they enlarged? A lot of things. Those are filtration devices. If you have enlarged tonsils, you likely have enlarged lymph nodes and our head and neck. You know, Tracy, what would be really, really good for you that you might want to consider. I don't like to tell people what to do, but you might want to consider thermography. Thermography, especially from the head to the abdomen. I mean, you might want to do the whole thing. A lot of times women will just go for breast thermography looking for, you know, risk for cancer. But a lot of things drain into the breast, okay? And a lot of things from a head and neck, whether it be our dental, plastics we put in our mouth, like guards, you know, our eyes, but everything drains this way. So if our tonsils are enlarged, that is an inflammatory condition and it's due to lymphatic flow. So have you considered maybe increasing therapy for lymphatic flow? Look into that. But I would maybe want to consider for you getting thermography, head, neck, torso, breast, okay? And if you have a good thermographer-ish, they're very good at their job, they will notice that you have a lot of lymphatic drainage. So our lymphatics is very important, and that's why people get cancer. RM, our little, my blue wrench has finally arrived. Thank you for being here. RM is my moderator and can help me out. Thank you. I appreciate your time. It means a lot to me. It really does. It helps to organize the questions. Susan says, I started taking 2 more vitamin D plus multi. I'm so tired. Well, does that mean you were tired before and you started taking those things and you're even more tired? Or you're tired and you think taking a vitamin D and taking a multi will help you? It will not, but you can take them. What kind of a doctor am I? I am family practice. Virginia says, vitamin D causes me to itch. What can I do? Don't take it. Mr. Mercury says, hey doc, what kind of supplements or even plants can I use to decrease headaches? One, why not, instead of decreasing the headache, what is causing your headache? Have you gone on an elimination diet? First and foremost, because I think diet plays a huge role in what causes headaches. Go on an elimination diet. Meat, salt, and water. That's it. Meat, salt, and water. But, low magnesium can cause headaches. Low vitamin D can cause headaches. Low magnesium causes low vitamin D, which causes headaches. But you don't just simply take vitamin D, because then you could lower your vitamin A. You lower your vitamin A, you can lower copper. You lower copper, you can cause iron to accumulate and be driven into the liver. So you can see that just simply looking into Googling, hey, what lowers headaches? What plants? I would never put a plant in my body, but that's up to you, except for coffee. And yeah, I choose that. I would find out what's causing your headaches. Do an elimination diet. Start making a diary. Is it exercise? Is it going out in the cold? Is it going in the heat? Something is triggering a headache. Is it a particular food? Angel says, thank you, doc. You're very welcome. TJ says, will they ever have a cure for cancer? They do have a cure for cancer. You just don't know about it. First of all, you got to know what cancer is. Alex says, do we know the truth about the beef myth? What is the beef myth? People thinking cows don't have 2 stomachs. They have multi-chambered stomach. They're polygastric. And polygastric stomachs, they ruminate, they have cud, and they use the plant grass to make short-chain fatty acids, and those short-chain fatty acids make protein, and we eat the protein. They live on protein too, you can see. And filter out the grains and byproduct. If you're worried about grain-fed animals, just consume grass-fed animals. I don't know what I think about. Here's what I do think. If all you can afford is grain-fed beef, eat grain-fed beef, okay? That's what I say. Are you going to get more lectins? It's possible. Are you going to get less omega-3 and more omega-6? It's possible. It's possible. Okay? Alex says, Sherpa, I must get. Yeah. I'm guessing it came from a foreign country. I don't know. But a girl at the gym who asked me about this today said, ooh, I got one similar to that. I got it at Old Navy. So, Alec, if you're around an Old Navy and, yeah, for $15 or $20, I think that's all I paid for this. I have ankylosing spondylitis. Itis means inflammation. So you have an inflammatory condition. Most people don't know what that is. Do you think changing my diet will help? Yes. I have been looking more and more into carnivore, but I don't think I could ever eat raw. Then don't eat raw and just eat meat and water and salt and eggs and an occasional sardine and some liver. You need liver if you're on a carnivore diet. You need organ meats if you're on a carnivore diet. That is carnivore. You cannot, I don't think you can. I think you would feel better. I think your magnesium and your zinc and your selenium and your copper levels will be much better controlled if you have some organ meats. Mr. Mad Dog, that is a topic I don't know much about, so you could help me answer that question, maybe. I think everybody's going to have an opinion on that. Anything to help with tinnitus. Find out what the tinnitus is caused by, okay? What is causing your tinnitus? It could be magnesium. It could be iron overload. There's a lot of things. I think you need a really good set of labs. Little dancing fawn. Pain, if you're pain in your armpits, I would, what goes into the armpits? I mean, our breast tissue, the tail of our breast goes into our armpits. Also, lymph nodes drain in that area. Also, the pectoralis minor attaches in there. Maybe you got a pectoralis strain. There's a lot of things that could be causing that. If you feel a lump, you should get an ultrasound. Maybe do thermography. Maybe get a mammogram. Carson Farmer says, I have lots of stomach issues. Is it the stomach, or are you meaning the GI tract? Is it your intestines? Is it your bowels? Is it your small bowel? What is going on? I'm always ill. So that means that you likely have some sort of irritable bowel. Your zonulin levels are high. That's an inflammatory marker. Zonulin causes the enterocytes, inside the intestines, cytes, cells, are line the lining of the intestines, and they're supposed to be sitting tightly together, okay? If the zonulin level is high and there's inflammation, there's something called gap junctions. And gap junctions let stuff that's from the inside go to the outside and causes problems like autoimmune and inflammation. But checking a zonulin, Z-O-N-U-L-I-N level will help. And you're sick because, your immune system, that's in your bowels, in your gut. And something you're eating, you likely grains and plants with phytates and oxalates and tannins and lectins, they're all causing gap junctions. They're causing inflammation in your bowel, and you're getting the repercussions of this. It's not a good sign, okay? So an elimination diet of meat, salt, and red meat, salt, and water would be in your best interest. I would say ruminant meat, salt, and water. I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well, but you can improve it. Can you explain cancer, please? Is it cell replication at a fast rate? It's cell replication at any rate. It is, some people think it's from a parasite, some from a virus, some from a fungus, some from a bacteria. What is the cause of cancer? Cancer is basically, I believe, a protective mechanism. It is a tumor. Why do we build up tumors? You have toxins in you. Could it be sugar? Could it be amino acids? Could it be parasites? Could it be viruses and bacteria and fungus? Absolutely. Could it be heavy metals? Some sort of a toxin is being walled off in your body. That walling off is just like Tracy asking about her tonsils. The tonsils are there, they're walling off, they're growing, and that is a natural mechanism. Something is going on in your body full of toxins. So again, I would start with an elimination diet and figure out what's going on. Your cells are just not replicating out of the blue. They're not building up tumors. That tumor is a protective mechanism to keep you from dying. We go and we poke it and prod it, we smush it and smash it, and we stick tubes up things, and yeah, and then we find, and then we poke and prod the tumor, and we wonder why things spread. We even take our breasts off, hoping it's not going to spread. That's dumb. Thank you for your opinion on grain-fed beef. You're welcome. I eat grain-fed beef. Sometimes I have to. It's the only option I have available, and I will do it because grain-fed red meat is better than no red meat at all. I'm counting on that cow to take care and process all of those plants and all of that. I'm counting on that cow. I respect that cow and I love that cow. Angel says, I do use vitamins. I'm a vegetarian. Yes, you will need vitamins. Absolutely. Or get it somehow in, but yeah, most vegetarians or vegans for that matter, need B vitamins, methylated B vitamins. Legit says, I'm celiac and I'm afraid if I eat grain-fed, they'll come out in a couple years and say that it negatively you know what's impacting your celiac? Plants. Get rid of the plants. Your cow is not giving you the plant foods. They're using that plant to make short-chain fatty acids, which make the protein, okay? If you're worried, get lean sources of ground. If you're a celiac, eating a carnivore diet is in your best interest. Organ meat. Scary to think of the textures. Have it ground up and put into your ground beef. That's an easy way to do it. Just ask the butcher to grind it up into your ground beef, and then you won't even know or know about the texture. The least inflammatory diet, Alec, is a ruminant meat, salt, and water. Try it and see if your inflammation goes down. Alec, maybe try chicken liver first if you're hesitant on beef liver. Chicken liver is a little calmer, a little more mild. Actually, if you cook it and then you let it cool to room temperature, even cool it, the liver has even less taste to it. It's got less bite to it. I like to eat liver sausage as well. It's basically a pate of liver, and I enjoy it. That's just another option. You're welcome, Alec. Trying new things is awesome. Linda says getting in the water might help. Yep, treading warm water, getting in a sauna, increasing sun exposure. We want to increase nitric oxide. That's an anti-inflammatory. It helps with reactive oxygen species, but get rid of the things that are in your diet that are causing inflammation. Good day, Neiman. Thank you for joining. If you guys like this information, please share it. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the hearts, you guys, over there on Instagram. I'm live on Instagram and YouTube. Someone close to me went to a new doc for the first time and was told to go on a statin before the doc even saw the labs. Many docs are drug dealers in white coats. It's quite possible. If they hadn't seen the labs, what would have made the doctors say to go on a statin? I'm interested in that. Brian says, thanks, Doc. You are such an amazing source for us 50-somethings. Oh, you're very welcome, Brian. Thank you for being here. Lucy says, you are correct on the arachidonic acid breaking down fatty acids. There's something to do with oxidative stress also. Yeah, we need some arachidonic acid, but just not a lot. Not more than we need, okay? So taking in more omega-6 is not in our best interest. You're very welcome, Melanie. I'm glad to help. Share this, you guys. Yeah, Lucy, I wear a mouth guard as well. Just think about the microplastics that get drained, into our system. I don't know options. Are we going to find another material that will act as a mouth guard? I mean, I'm wearing one a lot of hours of the day, okay? I bet half the day I am wearing a mouth guard, and that can't be good. But I'm going to do some other things that that help. It's tough. Again, we can't live in a bubble. I know that is impossible, and I'm going to do the best I can. RM asks, is there a way to cleanse our bodies to get rid of toxins once and for all? No, because the minute you walk outside, you're breathing in more toxins. There's glyphosate in the air. There's heavy metals in the air. There's spraying things in the air. Who's they? Who knows who they are? But you guys have to know that there's stuff in the air that's coming down onto our soil, and then we eat the things growing in the ground. I choose not to. I will eat plants as long as they're filtered through a cow or deer, bison, buffalo, sheep, lamb. I'm not going to eat plants anymore. I'm not going to, okay? I'm going to drink filtered water, and I'm not going to get over intoxicated of fluoride, bromide, chloride, where my iodine goes down, and then my my thyroid doesn't work. And then all of these things. If you have thyroid questions, bring them on. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. Boom, boom, boom. Pautistic says, I have an itchy rash all over and nothing helps. Well, an itch sounds like an allergy. It sounds like histamine. So something you're doing is causing a high histamine. Okay? I don't know what that is, but I would start with my diet first. Yes, Alec, grind it into your ground beef. Brilliant. That was a brilliant question. Thank you. Yep, ruminant meat, salt, and water. Are you a vegan? No, I am not. What about chicken? This one, I choose to get pasture-raised chicken, organic if I can. Chicken is, or turkey or poultry, any bird, which I do like to eat. They are monogastric animals, and I definitely avoid their fat. I will definitely avoid the fat of chicken and turkey and any other type of bird, duck. Well, not duck, because duck will eat mostly, except for if you raise ducks, no, they're probably eating grain. But yeah, I won't eat the fat on the birds because I don't want those, especially if they're grain fed. I don't want that fat in my body with the lectins. High omega-6, very, very high in omega-6. There's very little omega-3 in birds. More so if you get the grass-fed, pasture-raised. Oh, I've never had lamb liver. I'm going to check into that. I've never eaten it. Okay, I will try both. No bark. Get in your hole now. Thank you. Chicken liver, then beef liver. Sounds like a great idea. But the grounding option is very appealing. I've even ground up chicken liver and chicken hearts into my ground beef. Yeah. I overdosed on vitamin A when I was a kid. What do you mean you overdosed? I ruined my skin by overdosing on vitamin A. Tell me how. How did you do that? I'm in Iowa. That's a good question. Most doctors won't. Okay. My wife and I are trying to conceive. It's been 7 months. Should we wait a year to see the doctors? One, they probably won't see you until a year. You could check into the male factor, so just getting a sperm count, and I'm sure your doctor could order that. So the male factor would be getting a sperm count and seeing if they're healthy. But a lot of times, the diet in the female, one of the reasons that she can't get pregnant is her diet is lacking. They may be malnourished. They might be too thin. They might not have enough fat on their body. Going carnivore actually helps. I have seen women get pregnant on a carnivore diet when they were never able to get pregnant for the previous years. So going on a meat, salt, and water diet with plenty of fat. So a ruminant, meat, salt, and water, but I would make sure that there's enough fat. A lot of times these women do not want to eat fat because they think they will get fat, and that is psychologically a problem. But getting past that for the mere fact of they want to get pregnant might encourage them to eat a little more fat. Sizzle, I'm not sure if I understand your question, but you had a lot of things going on prior to 2024, and then due to illness in 2024, you started eating meat. Is that what you're saying? What should I eat to help my digestion? What is wrong with your digestion? How long have you been on a meat-only diet? Are you only on a meat? Are you eating dairy? What happened to your skin when you OD'd on vitamin A? Yeah. Alex says, do I ever miss warm blueberry pie? I don't know if I've ever had warm blueberry pie. But if it's once a year, eat the warm blueberry pie and put some ice cream on top, vanilla. Your mom makes good pies, huh? Well, she's poisoning you, but... Denver says, Doc, you have some great points. I will try carnivore. Let us know. I'll be interested. Yes, and stop your ankylosing spondylitis. You can love pies all you want. I mean, I love ice cream. I love a lot of things, but I'm not going to eat it, especially if I have ankylosing spondylitis or Hashimoto's. I have a Hashimoto's and related complications. Now I have growths in my thyroid. You're growths in your thyroid? Do you know why you have growths in your thyroid? Those little nodules? You lack iodine, my friend. And the lymph node growths? Iodine, lack thereof. Hashimoto's? Iodine, lack thereof. And all the crappy food that you put in your body that causes inflammation. So, slowly add iodine back into your diet. You might want to get some Lugol's iodine or some nascent iodine. You start slow, 1 drop a day for a week, then 2 drops a day for a week. Then you go to 3 drops for another week and get up to 6, 7 drops a day, maybe up to 10 drops a day. I believe a 2% Lugol's iodine. I did the math yesterday. 2% Lugol's iodine will of 6 drops a day will give you about 6 milligrams of iodine. Yeah. Keep bumping it up and watch those, the Hashimoto's go away. Watch, unless, of course, you've had Hashimoto's for longer than you know about. But I would still, everybody's low on iodine. Everybody is low on iodine, and everybody's cells need iodine. But you have fibroids, or if you have fibrocystic breasts, or you have thyroid nodules, or these growths, yeah, you're lacking iodine. Those growing are trying to seek out iodine. Maybe even your cancer tumors need iodine. Yes, it's water soluble, so you will pee out iodine. And I doubt you will get overdosed on iodine. Taking 3 drops of Lugol's iodine is less than 6 milligrams. 6 milligrams is a very low dose. It's just, yeah. I mean, you could bump that dosing up. Prismatic says, carnivore is the way to go. I've lost 100 pounds. Who does not want to lose 100 pounds if you have 100 pounds to lose? And reverse acid reflux, prediabetes, high blood pressure, fatigue, and likely, well, there's a lot of things that you, Prismatic, thank you for sharing that, because you've reversed every chronic, modern chronic disease that we think of as doctors to give you medicine for. I'm guessing your thyroid is functioning a lot better too. Yeah, prismatic. A female diet is called plants. Eat the salad, no protein, no fat. Yikes. Alex says, my sister needs help getting her puppy to stop barking. You just need to talk to them. I talk to them all the time. Tello, he's not listening to me. I talk, but they might not listen. If I make eye contact and they are talking to me, then they're wanting to talk back in dog way, but I talk human way and they talk dog way, and that's their talking. Now, if a snowflake is blowing across the ground and they're barking, that is another story. But some dogs do talk a lot. Mine, they don't really talk a lot unless I'm talking on here, and I think it's because they know I'm talking and they want to talk back. They don't usually do that when I'm sitting quietly and doing reading and all of that. They're very quiet. And so if there is a lot of commotion going on at your sister's home, that could be another reason why they're barking. Their nervous system is wired and they need to calm down. They're not able to, you can look up parasympathetic nervous system techniques for dogs and see how you could increase their parasympathetic tone and decrease their sympathetic tone. Just correcting them will not help. Now, mine have gotten used to me saying certain key words like no bark, and I train them when they no bark and I say thank you or good job, then they usually will quit right away. I have not been able to, and I don't know if I want to, completely get them from barking, okay? Because they are a protection, they are a notification for people. But a puppy, especially a puppy, they just didn't even know they had a voice, okay? When I got Tallow, like I told you, he came from Oklahoma, from Norman, Oklahoma, and he never barked. He did not bark. And I remember the day he heard his voice. It was, he's 2 years old, or so to speak. He's around 2. And I thought at first it was funny because he sounded like a walrus. That. And I thought he just didn't know how to bark. He might not have. I thought it would probably become a normal bark, dog bark, after a while. It did not. Now I think that whoever had him and then put him out on the street to run loose took his vocal cords out. And that is inhumane. In addition to dumping them on the street, but they yanked out his vocal cords. Now, when he and I talk, I do his talk and he does his talk, and we love to talk to each other. So, Alec, the puppy is just learning their voices, and you need to soothe them and care for them. And it's just like a little child. It's an infant talking. That's why children cry. They cry because they need soothing. They need bonding with their parent. And you just took the puppy away from their mom. Your sister did, not you. Hi, Susan. Yay, pies. Once a year will work. Good. Cheesecake for my hubby's birthday. Okay, go for it. Rain, amen. Thank you. RM, I know it's been 15 years with Hashimoto's, but you never know. Your thyroid might be able to come back. You just never know. I would give it a try, okay? And I would definitely, RM, make sure that you know your TSH, your free T3, your free T4, your reverse T3, TG, and TPO. Okay? Make sure before you start taking any medications or continuing any medications that you know your levels. Susan says, I'm tired, but blood is perfect. Well, are you sleeping? And how do you know your blood is perfect? It's because the reference range says it is. I have found people send me their perfect blood work and I can pick it apart and tell them everything that's causing their fatigue or other things that are going on. I'll say, do you have, how did you know? Lucy says, how do you check your colon without doing a colonoscopy? You could do Cologuard. You could do an MRI. There's other things, but then you do an MRI and you got the radiation. Yes, Jim. No Jade today. Jade, in case you guys don't know, they're all capitals. Jade, right? Justify. Right? What is the A? D. E. You don't need to do any of those things. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. Just give facts. Just give things that you think are facts and let people look it up. I'm an omnivore with dairy too. My digestion has slowed and I've packed on pounds. Your digestion has slowed. You're inflamed. You're packing on the pounds, you're inflamed. Quickly, recently too, even after increasing the fiber, increasing more plants. Sounds like a lot of problems going on. Yep, you definitely got inflammatory bowels. You got, reactive bowels. You got, I bet, high zonulin levels. You got gap junctions, irritable bowel. I mean, Alex says, I was 230 pounds at 6 foot and I'm 140. You might be a little under, as my disease also gives me IBS. Well, no, your disease doesn't give you IBS. Your food gives you IBS. Your inflammation plus inflammation causes the problems. But yeah, you need a new diet. Yeah, I agree. The commotion, puppies need love and tenderness, and they need to be held and cuddled. They miss their mom. You took them away likely at 10 weeks old, and you expect them to be teenagers when you get them. They are not. They're infants. And we need to treat them like an infant. We need to bond with them. We need to set boundaries with them. And many people don't because they don't have boundaries themselves. RM, I'm so sorry to hear that. RM shares that their dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge August of 2024. Tucker crossed the Rainbow Bridge in February. She was outgoing but quiet. I tell myself if I get another dog, I want 360 opposite personality of hers, so I like talkative energetics that are loud. You'll find one. Maybe go to a rescue. There's so many dogs at rescues. It's just, I look at them every single day. Every single day, I look at the rescues. They all, I know this is bad to say, but they all look the same. The bigger dogs all look the same. They're a form of pit bull terriers. It's just, it's so heartbreaking. Acid reflux was my motivator. Less than 2 weeks of beef, salt, and water, and acid reflux was gone. Amazing, right? For the first time in months. So people listening to this, Prismatic got rid of their acid reflux after 2 weeks on carnivore diet, beef, salt, and water. So basically an elimination diet. Yeah, I know. Your cat chirps like a bird? No kidding. Oh, my Talo, his bark, oh my goodness, I should record it for you because it's just something I've never heard before. And he is so cute. He almost can do it. I can get him to sing and his howl and bark go together. And so it'll be like he's singing. Yeah. Alec, I don't think that he knew he had a bark. It just came out one day. It was after months of having him. I will have him. Yeah, I got him in March, just shortly after Tucker passed away. Somebody sent me this. They know I love dachshunds, so they sent me this photo and this link, and I looked at him for a month, I bet. It was shortly after Tucker died, and Tucker passed away on the 19th of February. It was shortly after that. I don't know when, but since these people knew that I love dachshunds, they sent me this link, and I bet I looked at him for another 2-3 weeks. And it's one of those thoughts where you go, well, I'm going to sit on it and think about it. And then I started looking into him a little bit more, and he'd been at this rescue, rehab, and rehome for months. And so I just thought I would contact the people and say, hey, what is up with this dog? You know, why is he there? And they go, oh, I'm sorry to say, but they didn't even answer my question. They just said, he's got an appointment to meet a possible new family tomorrow. And I go, oh, no, what? You know, that is God's way. That he's got a home, and I should feel very happy. And so I let it go. And then that was on a Friday. A Saturday, no, it was not. That was a Thursday. The family was going to meet him on Friday. I get an email on Saturday saying, hey, the family yesterday fell through. They decided not to take him. Well, then I really got curious, like, what is with this dog? And she goes, would you like to meet him? I said, yes. I mean, you can always say no, right? So I said, okay. And I thought, let's just do this. And I can even have my mom meet this dog. Well, this dog, the minute it got in your house, it peed all over. It lifted its leg. So I said, hey, can I take the dog out? Apparently you didn't take it out before. And I'm wiping it up and I go, oh, you know, it peed. I go, oh, on everything. And now thinking back the day before, I'm guessing that's what probably happened with the family, and they didn't want to maybe train the dog. They thought it might be an impossibility because the dog was apparently 2 years old. So after the lady left, after an hour, I said something to my mom, and I go, Mom, I don't know. Or she said, what do you think? And I go, I don't know. And she goes, this is manipulation. Well, you know, if the people yesterday didn't want him, and you don't want him, no one's going to teach the dog how to get potty trained. If it's only just about the dog being potty trained. I mean, look how nice he was with Timber and Tootsie. Look how calm he is. He just walked around. He was so peaceful. He didn't bark. He didn't do anything. And I go, you want me to take the dog? And she goes, oh, no. I just want you to think through things. You know, maybe that this is your, you know, maybe Tucker sent him. Oh, that was really good. Maybe Tucker sent him. Well, then I started going, maybe Tucker did send him. Maybe Tucker sent him to save his life. Well, I saved his life the next day. It was on a Tuesday. I sat on it for a day. Oh, Alec, the people on here are great. Yeah, Sizzle, the losing dogs, it's heartbreaking. And Tucker was my soul dog. He was my co-host. For those of you who were early on in my building up my career as an Instagrammer and YouTuber, Tucker was my help and my comfort. Let's see. Thank you, Sizzle. I agree. We need to keep people in line. Most people here want to learn. Okay. Let me make sure. What are the best ways to raise HDL? Saturated fat and lifting weights. Those are the best ways to raise HDL. If triglycerides are high, HDLs are very hard to get to come up. If triglycerides are high, HDL will naturally be low. You need to get your triglycerides down. No sugar, low or no carb diet to get the triglycerides down. What do you suggest healing the esophagus? I have Barrett's esophagus. Stop the splashing up. You need to get that lower esophageal sphincter to close. If you have Barrett's, there may not be no going back on taking medications. I would definitely decrease all plants. I would never eat a plant if I had Barrett's esophagus. I would not want to risk worsening my reflux. Ooh, that's a good question. The Countess says, will carnivore help my parathyroid? I don't know. Hyperparathyroid. I don't know, but it can't hurt. If it's going to help other things, it's likely it will help your hyperparathyroid. Lucy says, can you prescribe Cologuard? You can actually order your own Cologuard. There are certain states I cannot order Cologuard. But you can go to Cologuard.com and there'll be a form, and then usually your doctor or any doctor can sign the form and you'll get your Cologuard. Okay, Melanie says there's no radiation with MRI, but heavy metal exposure if contrast is used. Lucy says I opt out of colonoscopy and also MRI because the doctor is prescribing with contrast. Trying to find other alternatives. Check Cologuard. Yep, check Cologuard. What happens if you're overhydrated? Think about all of your electrolytes, first of all. You had mentioned in the past, no, you mentioned parasites eat heavy metals. They do. They love iron. Parasites, viruses, bacteria, fungus, they eat iron. It is their food. They love iron and sugar. How common do you think parasites are? Well, if you give them food, I'm supposed they're pretty common. Do I recommend a yearly cleanse? No. I recommend that you you somehow got to work on getting rid of the pent-up non-heme iron in your body. You got to stop feeding them because they're living rent-free in your body. They might not be, I've heard other doctors say that if you have parasites, you'd be losing weight. Well, maybe if you don't have extensive parasites, you're not going to lose weight. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I go back and forth on this parasite thing, but I'm telling you what, if you have a food source for anything in your body, it's iron and sugar, okay? Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Yes, it is so hard. Again, Linda, before you were even on here, I think if you go back and do a binge watch of all Dr. J's videos, I struggled for weeks prior to Tucker when he passed away, and many of you helped me through it, and I am so appreciative to all of you. I'm not sure that it's gotten any easier. I hate when he gets snowed on. He's got a little headstone out our back door, and I can't stand when he gets snowed on, and so I'm always constantly wiping it off and loving him, but it's really hard. Jay says your greyhound didn't recognize his bark either. So it is possible he's got Italian greyhound in him. I mean, it's quite possible. Maybe that's the link. Maybe it is a bark. Maybe it is their bark. I've never heard an Italian greyhound bark, or a whippet for that matter. I don't even know. I've never even seen these kind of dogs, although I guess I have. My very close friends, they have an Italian greyhound. They rescued one. They've rescued two, and I've never heard it bark, so I wouldn't even know. Sizzle says, I didn't have those gut issues when I was not eating meat. So when you're not eating meat, you got a lot of double negatives in here. Okay, so you're saying that the gut issue started with, well, they're going to. If you go from a plant-based diet to a meat-based diet, you have bacteria that ferment and eat crappy crap that's in your body, plants. If you try to introduce meat, you need bacteria that eat meat. You have no bacteria that eat meat. So it's going to take time. It could take a month or more for your body, your gut to accommodate. But yeah, the plants are what's causing the problem. 1910 says, I love your adoption story. Thank you. How much vitamin D do I recommend? Susan, I talked about vitamin D at the very beginning. I do not recommend that you need to take vitamin D at all. Yes, dachshunds are so funny, Linda. I'm skipping breakfast. I'm not even hungry in the morning. Good, don't eat. Eat when you're hungry. Stop when you're not hungry. Do you recommend sugar-free peanut butter? I don't recommend peanut butter at all. Hi, what to eat if you have fibrocystic breasts? You need iodine. You need to get rid of fluoride and bromide and chloride in your diet and your air. Haha, good luck with that. But fluoride, bromide, and the halides will displace iodine from the cell membrane. There's an iodine receptor on every cell. We need iodine. If you have fibrocystic breasts, get rid of all nuts and nut butters. Get rid of all caffeine. Increase iodine or start taking iodine and watch the fibrocystic breast dissipate. Oh, also, Ruth, overhydration is very, very hard on your kidneys. They're having to work overtime to concentrate your urine. If your urine is white or clear, your kidneys are working overtime. Good questions, you guys. What else? Oh, sorry. No other questions? Do I have anything else written down? I talked about the vitamin D, talked about hydrogen peroxide, talked about reactive oxygen species. Let me see. Talked about checking labs. Talked about checking RBC levels of vitamins and minerals instead of serum. Getting an RBC zinc, RBC selenium, RBC magnesium, RBC copper. They're more accurate than trying to get a serum level, okay? So that's really important. If you have a low zinc level, a low RBC zinc level, think about inflammation. Low zinc, inflammation. Remember that zinc, I want to get you to remember something. Back in the day, a few years ago, you were told to take high amounts of zinc, high amounts of vitamin D, and high amounts of, there's three of them. C, did I say C? C, D, and zinc. C, D, and zinc. If you take these in high doses, you will improve your immune system. You might initially, but this is the terrible triad when it comes to your copper level, okay? All of those will lower your copper level. When you lower copper level, you will drive iron into the liver, and then the liver becomes toxic. If you have a toxic master organ in your body, guess what happens to glutathione? Glutathione goes down. Then they told you to take glutathione. Why not just allow your liver to make your own glutathione? Don't take a synthetic glutathione because you've decreased it, among other things, but you started taking vitamin C, vitamin D, and high doses of zinc. All three lower copper. I know it sounds crazy, but the things they're telling you to do, it's not like they're doing it maliciously. I just don't think they know that all of the combinations cause other problems. You're blocking normal biologic processes in our body. If vitamin C is an antioxidant, okay, and you give vitamin C, then everything back downstream is negatively affected. It's going to negatively feedback and tell it, hey, we have enough vitamin C. We don't need any more. But interjecting vitamin C into the normal biologic pathways is not doing you any good. The reason you need so much vitamin C is likely because you're eating so many carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, glucose, sugar, binds to vitamin C receptors. And now you need more and more vitamin C. Simply taking stuff without subtracting is not in our best interest. Okay? Oof, Linda. Linda has fillings. Do we recommend replacing them? If you do, do it very slowly. One at a time, very slowly. Minus 22 where you're at, Alec? Oh my goodness. Is that with the wind? Is that the wind chill minus 22? We got about minus 5 wind chill here. And yeah, it's very important to any vehicles, your truck especially. God, hopefully it's not a diesel. Woo, yikes. But yeah, an engine block heater is a brilliant thing to do. Putting an engine block heater on all of the vehicles in Iowa or Wisconsin or Michigan Minnesota is in our best interest, having an engine block heater. I agree. Yes, I am on every Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 9 a.m. Central, Sunday at 10 a.m. Central on YouTube and Instagram. Please like and share, follow, hit the thumbs up, hit the heart button. Indigo says, I just started on a medication called pregabalin. That's Lyrica. Can you tell me why I'm struggling to walk? No, I can't. You can't walk after taking the pregabalin? Then I would probably stop the pregabalin if you can't walk because of the pregabalin. Why do you have neuropathy? Why are you taking Lyrica? Did anybody look into why you cannot walk or why you have neurological problems? Things need to be looked into. No, not diesel. Used to have, and man, even with glow plugs, didn't start in the morning. I agree. Diesels, I would never own a diesel. I'm sure that there are reasons to have a diesel. I do not have one. I do not have a reason to have a diesel. What do you do when you have too much vitamin D in your system? Let it dissolve. The fact is, you could have, if you have a lot of fat on your body, remember vitamin D is fat soluble, and you will get stored vitamin D. Not all of that vitamin D can convert to active vitamin D. It's a conundrum, but getting rid of your body fat stores will help resolve having too much vitamin D. Okay. Thank you, Sizzle. I appreciate that. Thank you, Linda. I hope to see you tomorrow as well. Angel, are you low? Why not take vitamin D? I'm low. How do you know you're low? Are you low because the reference range is low? Or you've been told that there's a certain vitamin D level you should have? Is that stored vitamin D or is it active vitamin D? You should check both levels. You want an active vitamin D around 45 and you want a stored vitamin D of around 20, 21, 22. Okay? Those are the normal levels of vitamin D in our body. Active to stored. Alec, please be careful. That's cold. And yeah. Doc said I was under 50. Well, what's under 50? Is it 49 or is it 19? Your goal for stored vitamin D is around 25. Let's just say 25. But you need to have active vitamin D. Even if you have 100 stored vitamin D, you can't use it all. Is there a copper supplement that you can take? Yes, there are copper supplements, but I would look into seeing what your copper level is first. Don't just take something to increase copper when your copper level might be fine. Get a RBC copper level and see where it's at, okay? My doc doesn't even check vitamin D for women. She just says supplement because everyone is assumed to need it in Oregon. That is a doctor with a condition called ignorosis. Ignorosis. Osis means a condition of ignorance. That's a shame. That's a shame. And they even admit it to you, their ignorosis condition. Hopefully they don't take medicine for that. They need to subtract instead of add. I have scoliosis and fibromyalgia and I'm out of medication. Do you think that could be the reason? I don't know what medications you were on for your scoliosis and fibromyalgia. And if that is a reason to get the can't walk situation, too much. You guys, here's my entry into promoting myself. Whew. If you would like to sign up for a consultation, email me at IronLadyDoc@AOL.com. Iron, Lady, LADY, doc @AOL.com. If you want to schedule a consultation, we can go over your labs, go over your medicines, go over your medical history. It is not medical advice. I'm like your doctor in your back pocket, and I help you formulate some knowledge and questions to take back to your primary care physician and talk them over. That is what I'm here for. Not medical advice. It's for information purposes only. Bob suffers from iron deficiency. How do you know? The pills are too much. I'm trying to get through. Food makes me sleepy. Too much to go through in one question, but I highly doubt you are iron deficient. You are not iron deficient. It's a made-up term to get people to take iron to make them sick because viruses, parasites, fungus, and bacteria love to eat iron. And then they'll tell you to eat it with sugar, so you really feed them. Because the pyramid says, don't eat meat. Eat only grains and fruit. In fact, get 100 servings a day of it. Mic drop. Yep, there it is. That's a mic drop. I am per the tests, had the panels done. Get it? You didn't, what, Bobby Ray. When you get the active vitamin D and the stored vitamin D levels, let me know and I'll review them for you. Meat or plant-based foods if you had to choose. Meat. If we live in an area different, but you are willing to come to your area, would you do in-person? No, because I now work from home. And I no longer have an office any longer since April of this year. So April 30th, 2025, I shifted my practice of seeing people in person to a practice of seeing them only online to provide information to people. And that is what I do. So hopefully that answers your questions. And I see people from all over the world. I have patients, not patients. I have clients, not really clients. I have informational seekers in Indonesia and Australia and Italy and every state in the United States. So I enjoy what I do now. It has inspired me to educate myself even more than I ever have. I was one of those doctors that you guys are, why you're listening to me is because you have a doctor like who I used to be. I was a little more lenient. Like if you wanted your labs done, I surely would order your labs. I was not ego-driven. I just didn't know. I probably had a condition of ignorosis. I probably still have a condition of ignorosis, although it's getting better, okay? And I'm on a journey just like you, and that's why if you guys have something that helps me to help others, please share it, you know? I'm not opposed to, I want to learn. I don't know it all, but if I start poking holes in your theory or your information, it's because let's poke holes together or let's plug the holes together. Alex says, I am losing, you're 22 years old, losing hair on your temple regions for the last year. You need your iodine checked. You need your thyroid checked. You should not take finasteride until you find out what is going on. You don't just take a medicine, Alec, to to solve your thinning hair in your temple regions. You need to find out what's causing your problem. Get some labs done. Somsa says, thank you so much for your work. Many regards from Vienna, Austria. Ah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Hey, Doc, is it possible to get too much sugar from fruit? Absolutely. Fruit is really bad for our liver. It's so bad for you. Fructose, it's glucose and fructose, but fructose glycates 10 times faster than glucose. If you want a surefire way of aging yourself, eat fruit. You'd be better off eating table sugar than fruit. Or can I eat as much fruit in a day as I want? You can eat as much fruit in a day as you want. I'm not going to tell you what to eat, but if you want to know if it's good for you or bad for you, I can answer that question for you. I'm sure that you already know the answer. Interesting. These days, everyone seems to bash on meat eaters. Well, let them bash. I mean, it's not going to really affect me. I'm still going to eat meat. They could bash me all they like. Oh, Peacemaker says iron deficiency is real. Oh, okay. All right. Share your levels with all of us. Share everything. I want to know your liver function too. Share everything and why you think you have iron deficiency. Are you iron deficient in your bloodstream, so you're low on heme iron? Okay, I can get on board with that you are heme iron deficient. I'm on board with that. Maybe that's what you meant, Peacemaker. But you're 22 years old and your hair is thinning. Locked on West Virginia says, is magnesium good for sleep? It is. And what kind of magnesium? I would pick magnesium bisglycinate or threonate, things that cross the blood-brain barrier. Things that are magnesium that is absorbed better. But here's the question. Do you have low magnesium? Did you get an RBC magnesium level? What lowers magnesium? And are you getting too much of that? What if you're taking in vitamin D? And you got too much vitamin D, what's that going to do to magnesium? What is zinc going to do to magnesium? There's so many questions before you start. I mean, the answer to your question, does magnesium help with sleep? Yes, it does. Alex says, doctors who admit their faults and want to learn are hard to come by and must be cherished. Well, those doctors that admit their faults will get sued. So they're protecting themselves. They also probably don't think that they have any faults. They live in a faultless world within themselves, and everybody else is at fault for anything that occurs to them. That is many doctors. 1 in 5 of doctors are of a certain breed, and they've never been taught boundaries. They've never been taught something happened in their childhood. Let's just say that. AU, it does. Finasteride, before you take any medication, you need to look into it. I don't know about Froggy. I don't know about that particular medication for your dry eyes, but I have seen dry eyes reverse in people who increase their iodine and in people who increase their fat in their carnivore diet. I don't know that medication, and I wouldn't use any medications. The fat content, omega-3 to omega-6, likely you have too much omega-6. I mean, the ratio that we want of 1 to 6, or excuse me, omega-3 to omega-6 is a 1-to-1 ratio. And we're getting omega-3 here and 20 to 1 omega-6. Or, I mean, the highest I've seen is 29 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. That is very inflammatory. It can cause a lot of problems, and maybe you're seeing it just with your eyes. Dry eyes is plus I would rule out other autoimmune disorders. I mean, we got to rule out Sjogren's, and there's a lot of things for dry eyes instead of just going, oh, you know what? I think I'll just take this medication because they prescribed it to me. That is not the right treatment, okay? RM, is there a food that can stimulate periods? Well, you need to increase your fat. Your body fat could be low, and you're not getting enough saturated fat in your diet from animals, not synthetics, not from plants. Plant sterols are not cholesterol that we get from animals. Cholesterol is the building block of our hormones, not phytosterol. You can't take a phytosterol and make your hormones. We form, you could take a phytosterol and try to act like your hormones, but they are not. And they can't even really act like it. We need fat and cholesterol to make pregnenolone. Pregnenolone can make progesterone. Pregnenolone tells the adrenal glands to release DHEA. DHEA converts to androstenedione. Androstenedione converts to testosterone. Testosterone aromatizes to estrogens, all of our estrogen. You need fat and cholesterol. Lucy says magnesium glycinate is the best for sleep. Threonate for the blood, for the brain, malate for muscles. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate that. You can get a combo of all those too, I think, right, Lucy? What diet supplements do you recommend for endometriosis? Osis, again, is a condition of the endometrium. So something is inflamed in your endometrium, and you need to figure out what is causing the inflammation. So get rid of inflammatory foods like plants. Go to an elimination diet like meat, ruminant meat, salt, and water before you start taking any supplements. And even according to Gooser, do some fasting. Olivia says, doctors don't typically run comprehensive labs for functional analysis. Ask them to. And then if they refuse, have them write in your chart that they refused, and you say you want a copy. You say, why do you refuse? If you refuse, put that in my chart note, and then I'll wait, and I want a copy of my progress note. Well, you'll have to pay for that. It's at most 25 cents for a piece of paper. That's all they can charge legally. For one piece of paper, at the most, let's just say it's $1. You cannot overcharge a patient for their charts. There is, in your state, there are legalities on how much you could charge for a patient's records, okay? Look into it. But if they charge you $30 for a piece of paper, for one progress note, you have, that is not a good thing. You can take, we're not talking legalities. Just know there's some legalities. But you ask them, put in your progress note why they refuse to do the labs that you request. And then you will wait, or you'll come back the next day for a copy of that progress note with that written in there. That might get them to change their tune. They'll order them, and then they'll have you sign the form, which is fine. You guys, if they don't want to interpret them, you didn't want them to interpret them anyway. They don't know. They have a condition of really, really bad ignorosis. They're bamboozled by the buffoonery. This is the way to go, okay? And if that doesn't work, find a new doctor. Do you really want that doctor? Right? My mom was a nurse, and she used to eat liver for iron. Exactly. She ate organ meats. What would I say about GLP for weight loss and its long-term effects? That is a loaded question. Do you know what a GLP is? Do you know where a GLP acts in your body? Do you know why you have weight gain? Why are you overweight? Ask the questions before you search out, I need a weight loss medication. And then ask yourself, hey, what are the side effects of a GLP? GLPs could increase your risk of cancer. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, they could. Thyroid cancer, they sure could. Why don't you have GLP? Your gut doesn't have it, your brain doesn't have it, your muscles don't have it. Why don't you have GLP? Obesity is the biggest cause of low GLP. GLP also has been promoted to tell your brain you're not hungry. How long can you do that? Okay? How long can you be on a GLP that slows gastric emptying and you avoid getting paralysis of your bowel? How long can you go? I don't know. I don't know. How long can you afford your GLP? GLPs also cause fat cell hyperplasia. They make more fat cells grow, proliferate. That's a good thing if you don't have a problem with obesity, but that's a not so good thing if you go off the medication and the medication that you took for years caused fat cell hyperplasia, and now you go back to your diet and now your more fat cells get fatter. So now you get more obese than where you started. This is very common. Hold, please. Timber, go lay down. Okay, you guys, we'll call it quits. I know there is a lot of, Sizzle's got a question, Alex got a question, Froggy's got questions. Can you bring them back tomorrow? Bring your questions back tomorrow. I'll be back, Lord willing. I will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. on YouTube and Instagram. If these things helped you, if anything I said helps you, and you think there's somebody out there who can get helped by the information, please share it, like it, subscribe. Yes, bamboozled by the buffoonery. That is my motto, right, Sizzle? It is bamboozled by the buffoonery. And I want to thank Jim for making me some logos that say Malea Jensen DO, the prescription for health, no longer bamboozled by the buffoonery. We're on a journey, you guys. We got to undo everything that we have been taught and relearn, okay? And so we're going to make mistakes as we're relearning, like my mistake with vitamin D. Maybe I was pushing too much. We are not, even me, I'm starting to connect the dots and I'm passing it on to you guys. So 6 months ago, could have been telling you to take vitamin D and get your levels up to 100, especially in the wintertime. And now you're hearing me and you say, oh, she's flip-flopping. No, I'm not really flip-flopping. I'm learning. I'm adding to the knowledge base. Knowledge moving forward. Did you just learn everything as an adolescent kid and you just didn't learn anything after that? And if somebody says, oh, you're flip-flopping, okay, flip-flop away, okay? But that's how we learn. I'm not going to be right every time. In fact, I'm probably 50-50. I don't know what the percentage is. I could be wrong telling you things right today. And you guys could come back tomorrow and say, hey, I looked this up. Here's what I found. I said, thanks for looking it up. Let's talk about it. Great. Great. That's good stuff. But, okay, if you can't be here tomorrow, I'm here every Saturday and Sunday. I have reels during the day or during the week, most days of the week. If you want to sign up for a consultation or you want a list of labs or you want me to order your labs, email me, IronLadyDoc, I-R-O-N, Iron Lady, L-A-D-Y, D-O-C, doc, at AOL.com. Okay? You're welcome, Melanie. Thank you, guys. RM, thank you. My Blue Wrencher, thank you so much for being my moderator. I really appreciate you. I hope you know that. I don't want to ever use and abuse people, but my Blue Wrenches, they are so helpful. And how do we pay for a consult? It's credit card. It's via credit card. And at the moment, I'm more than willing to give you my prices. It's simple. It's $110 an hour right now. That's what my cost is. Okay? If people call me for just simple things like my personal patients do telehealth with me, that pricing is totally different. This is for the consults. I also have memberships. A membership is $100 for the whole year. What does the membership give you? It allows you to reasonably text me questions during whenever. I only have a few people who abuse that. But in all reality, many who have purchased the consultation for $100 for the year have said, you know what, Dr. Jensen, you deserve this. You're giving us free information all the time. If I need something, I'll let you know. For the most part, many of the people who signed up for the membership I always say, God, I don't feel like I'm doing anything for you. Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. So yeah, if you want to sign up for the membership, I'll send you a form. You can sign up. It's $100. It goes the whole year, and you'll have access to asking me questions on email or texting. Oh, the platform. I can send a link. I usually put a link, I put a link to PayPal as a donation site. So in the description of this video, we'll have a PayPal link, and it'll go to Center Stage Primary Care. That's me, Center Stage Primary Care donation PayPal site. And then you can donate if you want to pay for a consult. If you want to sign up for a consult, I charge via credit card for most consults, and you don't have to pay until we're done talking, because I want to know how much I'm charging you for. And yes, I'm going to get bundled up now. I'm already bundled up. But if I do go outside, you better believe I will be bundling up. Okay, you guys, I'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central. Please join. Please, subscribe. You guys have a blessed day. See ya.